Hey there, Commanders fans. Today we're going to talk about something really important for our team this season, so stick with me until the end, because this news is going to get you pumped for the next game. We're also going to discuss the prognosis of Jaden Daniels' injury, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now's the perfect time. We talk about everything Commanders related here, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Now, let's get right to it. Everyone knows that head coach Dan Quinn and our defensive coordinator Joe Whitt Jr. were very clear a few weeks ago. We needed to start forcing more turnovers, especially interceptions. And man, they were right. Whitt Jr. got straight to the point before the Week 6 game against the Ravens. He said that the ball is life, and we needed to bring that to life. It might sound like motivational talk, but the guy was spot on. Not having a single interception in 5 games? That's unacceptable. And Whitt Jr. knows his stuff. He even mentioned he had never seen that happen in his career. So, he decided to shake things up, intensify training, and find creative ways to expose players to more ball drills. And then, what happened? In the first 5 weeks, we had only recovered 3 fumbles. For a team that wants to be dominant, that's way too little. But from Week 6 on, it seems like the guys woke up. The game against the Ravens was the turning point. The defense finally managed to intercept Lamar Jackson early in the game. Sure, we still lost that game, but the signal was clear. The defense was starting to react. And then, the following week, came the real avalanche. In the 47 blowout over the Carolina Panthers, the defense made 2 interceptions on Andy Dalton. One of them was even a pick 6 by Dante Fowler right at the start of the game. Man, that set the tone for the rest of the match. Quinn, of course, was over the moon. He said that Dante's touchdown right at the beginning was what really kicked things off. The Panthers tried to move the ball down the field, but the Commanders' defense wasn't having it. And that's what I'm talking about, folks. The defense started to click. And there's nothing more exciting than seeing the guys forcing errors and capitalizing on opportunities. But will this continue in the next game against the Bears? That's the big question. The next matchup, in Week 8, is against a team that's on a roll. The Bears are coming off 3 straight wins, and Caleb Williams, that rookie sensation, is playing out of his mind. But if our defense keeps up this rhythm, we have a great chance of making this kid commit some errors. And look, he's good, but he's still new. If we pressure him like we've done in recent weeks, we can force some interceptions and maybe even repeat a pick 6. Another interesting point is that turnovers were a weakness for the Bears in their losses. When their offense makes mistakes, they lose. The Texans and the Colts showed that. In the 2 games the Bears lost, they had multiple turnovers. This means that the key to our victory might lie precisely in our defense's ability to force these errors. And if Caleb Williams starts feeling the pressure, you can bet the Commanders' defense will be there to capitalize. And it doesn't stop there. In the Bears' wins, their offense was almost flawless. They only turned the ball over twice in 4 victories. This shows that when Caleb is comfortable and the offense is clicking, they're tough to beat. But, as we saw in their losses, just force a few turnovers and the team falls apart. So, our team's mission is clear. Pressure, force errors, and capitalize on opportunities. If we can do that, the path to victory will become much easier. Another factor we need to keep an eye on is the duel between the high picks from the 2024 draft. If Daniels plays, the media attention will be fully focused on this clash between 2 great prospects. But, as we know, football goes far beyond quarterbacks. Defenses also play a crucial role, and that's where our chance to shine comes in. If the Commanders' defense continues at this pace, forcing turnovers and containing the Bears' offense, the game could become much more balanced than many people imagine. Looking ahead, the future could be promising. If the defense keeps improving in terms of turnovers, it's not an exaggeration to think we could come out of Week 8 with a 6-2 record. And that would be incredible, because, let's face it, starting the season with 6 wins in 8 games is every fan's dream. Now I bring some news that could completely change the course of our season. Yes, you read the title correctly. Jaden Daniels' injury prognosis might be the decisive factor for the team's future in 2024. If you're a football fan and love the Commanders, this video is for you. But I'll say this up front. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Alright, let's get straight to the point. Jaden Daniels, our star quarterback, faced one of the biggest battles of the season in the last game against the Ravens. It wasn't easy, the pressure was huge, and he left the game in pain. But you know what? He showed why he was picked second in the draft. Even with so many challenges, the guy kept his cool and made the team compete neck and neck. Sure, winning would have been ideal, but no one can deny he played like a true leader. We were in a tense match, and even without the victory, Daniels' performance was a clear sign that he's got everything it takes to lead the Commanders to success. Did you feel it too? With him on the field, the team just feels different. Now, hold on to this. During the game against the Carolina Panthers in Week 7, the Commanders were set to win. After all, Carolina came in with a lot of key players out, and we were expecting an easy victory. But fate had other plans. Early in the game, Daniels took a hit to the ribs. Man, did you see that? He tried to keep playing, but you could see the discomfort. It was a huge letdown when he was taken straight to the locker room for an X-ray. And then, my friends, came the news nobody wanted to hear. Daniels was pulled from the game. To be fair, it was the right call. With a weaker opponent like the Panthers, it wasn't worth risking further injury. The good news, according to Jeremy Fowler from ESPN, is that it doesn't seem to be too serious. But as a fan, we all know that waiting for the final diagnosis is nerve-wracking. Losing Daniels, even for a short time, would be a heavy blow to our ambitions this season. Head coach Dan Quinn didn't provide many details after the game, but the team confirmed that more tests will be done to get a clearer picture. All of us fans have our fingers crossed, hoping he'll be ready to return soon. What do you think? Has the worst already passed? What makes me the most anxious, and I imagine you feel the same, is the fact that we're in a good spot this season. For the first time in years, the Commanders have a solid 5-2 record. We're fighting at the top of the NFC East, and man, any prolonged absence of Daniels could ruin everything. Don't get me wrong, Mariota is a solid backup, but we can't rely on him to keep the team at the same level. In the last game against the Panthers, he did the basics, but let's be realistic. The defenses we'll face moving forward won't compare to Carolina's. Their defense was banged up, which made things easier. If Daniels misses time against tougher teams, it's a whole different story. And that's what's worrying. The Commanders invested heavily in Daniels. He was the second overall pick in the draft, and from the start, he's shown something special. He's the kind of player the franchise needed to bounce back. So, any setback now could be a huge blow. The fact is, the future of the franchise is directly tied to the health of our quarterback. The coaching staff, the players, and us, the fans, are all thinking the same thing. Will Daniels recover in time? I keep wondering about the impact this could have, not just on the next few games, but on the entire season. One thing we need to remember. CBS has already scheduled our game against the Bears for prime time. And let's be honest, we all want to see Daniels in that game. It's the chance to showcase our best to a national audience. But depending on how his recovery goes, we might end up seeing Mariota leading the team in that crucial matchup. But I have to admit, I'd much rather see our starting QB out there, putting on the show he's been giving us since the season started. The fact is, friends, Daniels is the key piece of this team. He's the guy holding this project together, the glue that makes the Commanders dream big. And if the injury is more serious, our expectations for the season could change drastically. 1 or 2 games without him might be manageable, but if it's something longer, then it's a whole different conversation. Do you feel the same way? Just the thought of that possibility gives me chills. But despite all the uncertainty, there's a glimmer of hope. We still don't have the final results from the tests, and we're all here, hoping he comes back as soon as possible. If all goes well, who knows? Maybe next week he'll be ready to lead the team again. Until then, all we can do is wait and trust that our QB will return stronger than ever. After all, the season is just getting started, and with Daniels on the field, anything is possible. The Commander's fate is still in his hands. Now I leave you with this question. If Daniels' injury prognosis is more serious than expected, does Mariota have what it takes to keep the team afloat until our starting QB returns? Or should we start worrying about the direction of our season? Drop your thoughts below because this discussion is far from over. And of course, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with other Commanders fans. Let's keep this conversation going and continue cheering for our team to come back even stronger in the coming weeks.